So is it 3 times, 7 times, 12 times, 20 times? Today I'm talking about marketing touch points. And a touch point is when someone interacts with your brand and your content, and how a touch point can turn someone from a browser into a customer. And once you understand touch points, you may just change your marketing strategy forever. What up, potty people, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, host of Clipped, and I'm bringing you the tips, resources, and people to help you crush your content goals. And today I'm talking about marketing touch points. We're going to explore what they are, why they matter, what it takes to master them. By the end of this episode, you're going to have a solid grasp of what marketing touch points are, the magic number of touch points you need for customers and companies to trust you, and how to streamline your touch point efforts to get better results. Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Marketing touch points are social media, podcasting, YouTube, your blog, your email list, your website. Touch points are like little breadcrumbs that you leave for your audience. And when they interact with one of those channels, they're either going to leave or they're going to want more and maybe interact with an additional channel or sign up for your email list, or maybe you convert them to one of your offerings. How many times have you stumbled upon a channel, a website, whatever it is, and didn't like it and just bounced, or maybe you liked it and then you got more involved, or maybe you saw it over and over casually for like 3 months, and then finally you decided to take an action and take it a step further with their content and with one of those platforms. So how many touch points does it take? Well, traditionally, the golden rule of marketing is 7. So the rule of 7 suggests that it takes 7 touch points for someone to feel comfortable to interact with you or to convert into a customer or to take some further action with your brand or your business. But now, 2025, people are saying that it takes a lot more touch points than 7 because we're inundated with so much content every day, all through our lives, that the golden rule of touch points is now more like 20. That makes sense because, how often are you scrolling and you see something, maybe you see it a couple days later, and then you see it again a week later, and then maybe it just keeps doubling down, and finally you're convinced, you're like, yeah, I think I resonate with this. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to click here and go further. I'm going to sign up for their newsletter. I'm going to buy that pair of shoes because it's been in my feed for like months. And finally, they've got me. At first, you're skeptical, like we all are. You see something and you're like, yeah, that's getting fed to me on my feed. Or, yeah, that podcast, maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. By the 3rd or 4th time, 5th time, maybe you're like, okay, well, maybe these people are credible. Maybe I will like this because the algo is feeding it to me, or I keep seeing it on YouTube. So every one of those touch points is important because it moves your audience closer to interacting or converting on something that you're offering. So how do we reduce the number of touch points in this world where now experts are saying 20 touch points? How do we maybe convert people sooner? Well, I think for one, it's to be authentic. Be authentically you in your messaging, and don't lie, don't be shady. Just talk about what you do or what you're offering or what you write about or podcast about in a way that feels authentic. And this can take some time to build because, at first you're probably a copycat. We all are. Slowly, the more reps you put in, the more comfortable you get, the more you're able to write in your own voice for a blog post or talk in your own voice for a podcast. And you stop giving a fuck really too about the way that you're going to be perceived because you do know that you're slowly building an audience. There are people out there who like what you're putting out. And so it gives you kind of that confidence to keep going in a manner that feels right and natural to you. People can pick up on the BS. And if you're not genuine and authentic, they will notice and they won't get involved with what you're doing. The next, I think, is to actually add value. Aim to educate, aim to inform, aim to, if you're in the comedy world, whatever, aim to make them laugh. But whatever it is, you need to talk about something or be in an area of expertise where you know what you're talking about. Maybe you're good at content creation, so you're talking about that. Or maybe you're funny, so you're doing comedy. Whatever it is, you got to double down on what you're good at and add that value. So tailor what you're doing. And this does take time, but in time, you will get better at it. And you're going to use that expertise and that like being genuine. The next is leveraging social proof. Maybe you have edited that awesome video for a client and they left a testimonial. Put that on your website, put that on your socials. Maybe you have won an award at that comedy festival. Make sure you mention that in your content, weave that in. Maybe you just made partner at a law firm. And so when you're talking about legal things and your content related to law online, you can mention that. That gives you that authority. People trust that. And when they come across you in whatever format, whatever touch point it is, they see that authority, that expertise, and that being genuine. That's going to help lower the amount of touch points it takes for someone to want to get further involved with you. Maintain consistency as well. You do all those things consistently and keep showing up and keep showing up and keep showing up. People are going to notice that. And ideally, that's going to cut down on the time it takes for them to want to get involved. So those 4 things are: be genuine, be an expert and double down on the type of content you're putting out that you're good at. Use social proof to show everybody that, hey, I am legit. I've got these credentials or these accolades, and then be consistent. You're going to constantly be putting out content that has all of those characteristics and do it often and on schedule. The more people see that, that's more touch points, that's more interactions, and the cycle repeats. The OG golden rule was 7. Now people in the field are saying it's 20. So, hey, maybe you shoot for somewhere in between that, maybe 12 touch points, whatever it is. Keep putting out that content. Remember, at the end of the day, it is about quality, not quantity, but every piece of content you put out should bring value to your audience. And if you found this episode helpful, guys, do me a favor, write a review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. If you're on Apple or Spotify, would love a follow. That way I can keep bringing value and sharing interesting tips and tidbits with you. If you want to dive deeper into my world and my offerings, head on over to thepodcasthaven.com. I've got a ton of resources for you there. And thank you for tuning into Clipped. Keep listening, keep engaging, keep creating. I'm out.